Hi, this is Joanna, and this is part 3 of the videos, how to make sugar quitting or reducing not so darn hard. In video number 1, I introduced you to the idea of suspending your belief. You do not have to give up on the belief that quitting sugar is hard, but suspend it for a moment and open yourself up to new beliefs that will help you actually do it. And in video number 2, I proposed new beliefs to have, to cultivate, and to practice to make this challenge doable, because it's so worth it. You are so worth it. One of the beliefs was quitting sugar is possible, it's doable, you are so worth it, and it's good to keep the promise you gave to yourself. And even if you still have to believe that quitting sugar is hard, finish the sentence. Quitting sugar is hard and I can still do it. So in this video, I want to take us through real life examples because maybe you got inspired, maybe you want to try it because it's been a challenge for you, and some people can just decide and quit sugar. And for some of us, we need more of that mental work, mindset change in order to achieve our goals. And in this video, I will give you real life examples and what to do in those situations and how to think differently in these situations, because that is the basis of our transformation. Because maybe one morning you wake up and you say, okay, I will try not to have any sugar today. And you will realize, hold on a second, 8 a.m. and I already ran into some obstacles. Joanna said, quitting sugar is possible. Does she even know what she's talking about? I will give you the ideas, the mindset ideas that I am using on myself. And I believe this is something that requires practice. So don't get discouraged if on day 1 you already failed, because failure happens along the way. And I have to tell you that just like I switched my belief that if I don't eat this kind of stuff, I am depriving myself. Right now, I actually believe that when I'm not eating this kind of stuff, I'm giving my body abundance of health, just because sugar has such a bad impact on every single system in the body. What will be the situations? When we are with other people, when we are alone, when we are tired and stressed out, when we are traveling. Actually, this is a whole different topic, a big topic. And by the way, I am not proposing that we quit sugar forever. But if you give your body a break for a week, for a month, and you will see the positive changes, you will experience what it really means to not have it and the positive impact of it. Situation number 1, when you are with other people. It is so good to celebrate with other people. Food is usually in the center of those celebrations. It's one of the best moments in life. And what if you are often in a group of people where this is not celebration, this is just overconsumption? If you have been frustrated with this habit and you see now that this sort of eating is contributing to your weight gain, it goes against your wellness. So is it really about the celebration? Hi. Okay. Usually you may not be aware of the thoughts that are going on. This is the example of the survival brain kicking in. If you have been meeting with a group of people and you are frustrated afterwards with what you have eaten, as if against yourself, then know this. We often sacrifice our well-being for the sense of belonging. There is no conscious thought very often. It's just a sense of, oh, if I am doing something contrary to what the group is doing, then I am separating myself from the group. There are questions you need to ask yourself. Do you want to keep doing it? Is the bad food the only glue that is keeping you together? And if yes, do you want to keep it? And what if You absolutely do not have to have the same thing on your plate. You don't have to drink the Coke together. You don't have to have the ice cream together. You can eat different things and still have the connection. Is this going to be a separation just because you don't have the same thing on your plate? Or is it going to be, is it going to reveal why you are really in that relationship? Of course, with your family, it will be obvious. You can eat completely different things and you still will be together. So the important thing is not to blame other people for your dietary choices. So what is that mindset shift that we have in situations with other people? First, the mindset may be completely unconscious. If I'm doing something different than the group, I am separating myself from the group. But the conscious belief might be there's something else that is holding us together. And actually, you know what worked well for me as well? This belief, this is not a big deal. Because when you are with other people and they will notice that you are not eating certain things, they may have opinions. And we know those opinions. If you don't explain yourself, if you think it's not a big deal, I would rather not have cake today, then you are not making a big deal out of this. You are not explaining and over explaining yourself. You are simply not making it a big deal, a big subject of a conversation. The second type of situation, when you are alone. I don't know what it is about being alone, especially when tired physically or mentally. I think that belief is, oh, I can relax now. Or let's make this moment even better with something sweet, something that will raise the dopamine. And remember, I'm talking about the beliefs, but you may not consciously be aware that you are thinking that, but every action, like eating sweets or overeating, is preceded by a feeling, and feeling is created by thought, even though sometimes it's it's on the subconscious level. So to not eat sweets when I am alone, the best remedy is to simply not have it at home. But if I happen to have it, and if I happen to be physically tired, which for me is a big trigger for eating sweets, at least I would reduce it. I would stay aware. I would not go unconscious. I would stay aware. Is it going to be 1 square of chocolate, 2 squares of chocolate, or 3? We have to stay aware and decide this is going to be enough. So if you are going to reduce it, decide what is enough. You can always limit this amount and decide this is enough. And here I actually wanted to talk about one belief, so that will be situation number 3, one belief that I find particularly harmful. And this is when people say, I don't want to restrict myself. Why do I think that this belief is harmful? It's because it's not even true. You are always restricting yourself. Even if you are still eating sweets or drinking alcohol, you are restricting yourself. Because why don't you drink 3 bottles of whiskey instead of just a shot? When you choose to drink a shot or 2, you are restricting yourself. But it is healthy restriction. If you are choosing to restrict yourself to 1 ice cream versus eating the whole section of ice cream in the store, you are restricting yourself. So let's clarify that. Unhealthy restriction is unhealthy. Healthy restriction is healthy. You are thinking that you are not restricting yourself because it doesn't require effort. Every time you reduce the amount of sugar, you are putting some restriction on yourself. But that would be healthy restriction. That would be that self-discipline that comes from self-love. Situation number 4, I believe, it is when it's just there. The sweets are just there. This is one of the moments when it's so easy to believe that quitting sugar is hard because it's everywhere. People always bring it. And we believe that when we give something with sugar, it's a sign of love and care, like bringing a cake or a box of chocolates. So what is the thinking that gets us into trouble? Usually it will go like this. Oh, it's just this time. It's just a little. Oh, I have not been eating sugar for 3 days, so I can now. So basically, we reason with ourselves, and that reasoning is simply excuse. So personally, this is what I do. When somebody brings something, I usually decide how much I'm going to eat, and I keep this piece really, really small. And you might think this is crazy, but for me, this is a sign of my self-discipline. I can do this, and this 2 bites is actually enough. And when I am somewhere out and I walk by a pastry shop, my favorite thought to think is, well, usually we buy it because we think it looks so good, it smells good, it looks good. And I tell myself, just because it looks good, it doesn't mean I have to eat it. And sometimes things look good, but they do not taste that good, especially if they come from a package. So when you pay attention, when you are present with what you eat, you basically experience and decide, is it worth it or it's not worth it? Situation number 5 is when we travel. Is it really so hard to stay away from sugar when we travel? Well, I would tell you it is a little bit more challenging for me also. And I define travel as being away from my own kitchen because it's so easy for me to have this routine in my own environment. But when I am on the road for longer, there are situations where the food that you want to eat, it's actually not there. Or maybe it will not be of good quality. So you have to make some choices. Still, awareness is the key. How much do I really eat? How much do I want to eat? And am I really hungry? Very often we eat ahead of time when we travel to make this transition from one place to another more convenient, easier on ourselves. But I think it's all about making the decision and staying aware. I know it can be harder, but it's not impossible. In the beginning, I'm falling off the wagon a little bit, then I catch myself and I make the decision not to eat sugar anymore. And that works. So how is it for you? Of course, it depends on the length of the travel. When you travel for 1 day, will be different than when you travel for 2 months. How much do I really eat? And do I really want to put this much sugar and gluten and flour into my body when I am traveling, when I am on the road? So is it 100% decision or is it a 99% decision to not eat sugar? Let me know if this video was helpful. I know that this one belief, this one switch from one thought to another thought, it may not be enough for you. Yes, it requires that you practice that belief, that new belief, but also it may be that you have completely different challenges in your mind. So when I am coaching people, we find beliefs that I would never guess that somebody may believe this kind of stuff, but finding that unique thought that you have that is preventing you from making positive choices is priceless, because then we are working exactly with what you have in your own mind. And the new mindset, the new thought will not come from me, will not come from another coach. You may get inspired by somebody, but it needs to come from you. But if one of the thoughts I shared with you will work for you, please borrow it and let me know if that helped you to reduce sugar or quit it. If you like this video, please subscribe and click the like, and I will see you in the next one.